So everybody, welcome to another edition of our Swing Time video calls, and I'm very, very happy to welcome Joe Dean to the show. Joe, my good friend, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Ian. Very good, thank you.
Man, that's what I like to hear. Now, Joe, we're trying to spread a little bit of joy, a few smiles. We obviously can't get out on the course at the minute, so we're doing what we can. I know it's not quite the same as playing the tournament, but Joe, what we want to do is find out all about you. So, Joe Dean, how did you get into golf?
So I first got into golf when I was about 3, I believe. My dad
early.
My dad gave me a sawn-off set of golf clubs, and then just started taking me to the driving range, and then just took me on the field hitting, balls and just little bits like that, and then eventually I ended up getting a little bit better, and I started enjoying it. And then I started having lessons at Burley Wood when I was about 7 with beat ball. And then just sort of went from there.
So when did you realise, Joe, there must have been a turning point when you thought, actually, I've gone from being quite good at this to I can make a real go of this now? What was the turning point for you?
I mean, it's difficult because I got asked to play for Sheffield Union, and then I worked my way up in that team to probably the top few players. And then you think you get a lot of confidence, and you think you are quite good at it. Not trying to be big-headed or anything, but you do feel like you are quite good. And then you get thrown into the Yorkshire Union, and then you realise, wow, I'm actually quite a small fish in a big pond again.
Right. Okay.
And then you work your way up, and then it almost does it like that for Sheffield, Yorkshire, and then England. And then when you start doing it in England, then you realise that, wow, there's not just England out there. There's a hell of a lot of other countries. And when you start playing against the other guys, you just get a nice sense of who you're going to be up against. And pretty much most of the guys is who you see up through the Euro Pro, the Challenge Tour, and then probably a few of them make it onto the European Tour out of everybody who you know and see through all those years. I mean, the tipping point for me was when I was about 17, 18 maybe. I was trying to do my A-levels. I was trying my best. I'm not going to lie, I'm not the most academic person. And then I just thought, look, I've done a year at it. I've not really got anywhere. Let's do golf. And then I went over to Balbicar at Doncaster in the golfing academy. So even though I was still in education, I was playing golf a lot more and enjoying it a lot more as well. They treated me a lot more grown up, and we had a lot more fun. And it was great. But it was sort of that point where I realised I don't want to further my education. I want to further my golf, and I want to do this properly for a living.
Fantastic. So on the playing side, you did that. Did you do the PGA, or are you looking at doing the PGA, or are you in the midst of doing the PGA?
No, I haven't done the PGA. I haven't thought too much about it. I'm not the most patient of people, so
so slow play winds you up, does it?
It used to. I say I had a good way of getting around it. I started going to my local golf club and playing behind like the Saturday or Sunday fiddles on my own, and that got me into the 5-hour plus rounds. So being stood around twiddling thumbs on the tee for a bit, it wasn't so bad. But so just little things like that. Some guys, they might click onto it and use it to their advantage. But then some other guys do get a real shock of how slow the game is played on the professional levels.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, like I said, I'm probably about a 20 handicap, so if you play with me, you'll be wound up. It's not that I'm a slow player, it's just I'm zigzagging across the course all day. That's my problem.
No, it makes it fun. It makes it fun when you're zigzagging.
I like that. Let's go towards the hole. Look, Joe, that's you've had a fantastic sort of rise in golf. Then, where are you at the minute with your career? Then, I mean, we obviously met when you played at Crossland Heath on the 2020 Pro Tour. Where are you at the minute, and where are you looking to go to?
So, at the minute, obviously, with everything going off, everyone sort of seems to be in a bit of like a limbo effect. But at the minute, I haven't really thought about golf too much. I mean, last year I was on Challenge Tour, and I bought a TrackMan. I put myself under a lot of financial pressure with that. I had a lot of people around me telling me that I needed to invest in myself, and all this. I've always been on the cautious side of finances and stuff like that. And if it would push me too far, I wouldn't play. And that's just my personal. That's just how I deal with it. I mean, you'll have other guys will get themselves into debt on a credit card or whatever, and that's fine for them. If they believe that they can get out of that, then that's completely fine. But myself, I do not want to be in that sort of position. So at this present moment in time, I've got a job and I'm just trying to make some money in order for me to, when the season does get back up, in order for me to be in a nice position where I don't feel as pressured into the entry fees or the travel or anything like that, the finances. Golf-wise, like I say, I was on the Challenge Tour, invested in a TrackMan, spent a lot of money, and I worked my arse off. I'm not gonna lie, I worked my arse off that whole last year. And if anybody knows me, they know that, especially the one-day events, I turn up maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes beforehand, hit a couple of balls in a net, a couple of chips and putts, and out I'll go. And the one-day events I tend to do all right in. And the Euro Pro in 2018, I did quite well, and that method worked. But for some reason, the Challenge Tour came along, and obviously you have to get there a few days early. It's just with that sort of travel. But then I started working with a TrackMan. I started doing 2-3 hours a day beforehand, and it just wasn't healthy for myself. Some guys, you'll see it, and it'll work dreams for them, hitting thousands of balls before they go and play. But that just wasn't. It wasn't right for me, and unfortunately, it took me the whole year to realise that. And by that time, it was too late, unfortunately. So looking forward, I mean, if I'm being honest, I can't see the lockdown being lifted for another a month or so yet. And then as when golf gets back up and running, especially the tours, and I know Europro have completely scrapped the
they have,
scrapped the plan, which my personal opinion, I thought it was a bit early, but they have the reasons, and there's nothing more you can do. So the category I've got on Challenge Tour, I think that might see maybe 2 to 5 events. It may be less, it may be more, but with what everything's gone off, I'm not sure how that's going to affect category wise, and when they eventually start back up, I'm not too sure. So at the minute, I'm just trying to tick over and earn a bit of money, and then obviously hopefully the 2020 tour, the 1836, all the smaller events will kick off a lot sooner, and then get back to the normal possible.
No, look, definitely actually spot on, Joe. And I know certainly from a 2020 Pro Tour side of things, the plan is to carry on as normal once we get the green light, which will be good, which will be really good. So, Joe, let's find out a little bit more about you. You also played on Challenge Tour. I've met you. I've seen you play. I've seen you strike the ball. You're a very, very good golfer. Certainly, I'm about a 20 handicapper, so you're about 20 shots, at least 20 shots around better than me, probably more. Really, I say 20, I'm probably doing myself. I'm probably being a bit kind to myself, really. But you've played, obviously, a lot of locations. You've played around the world. Where would you say has been the favourite course you've ever played? If you could only play one golf course for the rest of your life, where would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. The course what always comes to my mind is Sunningdale Old Course.
Okay.
Me and Jonathan Thompson, we played the Sunnydale foursomes. It might be 4, 5, 6 years ago now, but the Sunnydale Old Course was just really, really nice. I think the only other place off the top of my head I can think of is St Andrews Old Course.
Yeah.
For some reason, I mean, I'm not disrespecting the course or anything, but it's nothing layout-wise. It doesn't feel anything special. But just put on the first tee, just feels right. It's a real eerie thing. I don't know if it's all
it'll be the history, won't it?
Yeah, it's a really eerie thing, but it's such a nice course to play, and knowing that you've walked over the bridge on the last where so many other golfers over the history have done so. But
yeah, definitely. In fact, you're actually the fourth person who said Sunnydale as well. So I only live around the corner from Sunnydale. I've never played it actually. So if anybody's watching from Sunnydale and they want to invite me down for a round when we can get out of this, I'll be more than happy.
I think it's hard enough just to try and get on the place, isn't it?
I was going to say, I think I'd need to produce an official handicap card as well. I don't think they'd let a chopper like me on. So, right, Joe, you've like you said, you've been playing golf since you were 3 years old. So during that time, there must have been a moment where you've shanked it off the first tee. You've done something. What's been the most embarrassing moment for you as a professional?
We
always like to have a little giggle.
I've got a really good one for that. It was
Go on, then.
it was 2017. I qualified for the Open at Birkdale. I think it was the 146 Open. And on let me just think now, it was the fifth tee, short par 4, dogleg right. All it is, simple 4-iron, 3-iron, down the left side, opens the green up for a pitching wedge. I top shanked it off that tee into the thick rough about 20 yards in front of me.
Oh no.
And I just couldn't believe what I'd done. I mean, the only upside was that the crowd were probably 100 yards down the fairway on the left before they started. So I think if you probably got a camera and looked at it again, you'll just see people's heads in the crowd going like that, wondering where it's gone. And then
can we find this on YouTube, because that's brilliant?
Oh no, yeah, if you really want to. But yeah, there was all about 5 minutes later, they saw me about 15, 20 yards in front of the tee box in the thick rough, looking for it with a couple of fellow professionals. So, but I think I made par. I'm not 100% sure, but I've got a feeling I made par from it. So maybe it wasn't too bad.
Did you make the cut, Joe?
Yeah, I made the cut.
Fantastic.
It was something. I've never experienced pressure like that before in my life. I mean, I don't know, I think I was bottom of the cut line, maybe, what was it now? 58 or something like that. I was very close to the cut line, and I needed par down the last. And when the commentators say that the cameras don't do the light justice, I teed off at 4 o'clock, I think 3:30, 4 o'clock on the Friday. And when we got to the 17th par 5, the officials were asking us if we didn't mind carrying on. But through a camera, it looked completely fine. But when you were stood there and the big leaderboard screens were lighting up the fairways for you and stuff like that, it's completely different. But yeah, so I think I parred the 17th and then stood on the 18th. I needed par to make the cut, and it was, like I said, it was getting quite dark. I think the officials wanted us to maybe stop and restart in the morning, but myself and my group, we didn't want to do that, so they let us continue. Yeah. But I think the first day I can't remember if I doubled or tripled the last hole, so I needed par to make the cut. So I wasn't in the best frame of mind walking up to the 18th tee, but just stuck with my routine, managed to make par, and yeah, it was probably the
so it's
best
your most
feeling.
embarrassing moment.
Yeah,
but it's also probably the greatest memory as well.
Yeah, I mean,
what was it like on the Sunday then, Joe? What was it like on that Sunday walking up the 18th? I know if you were sort of closer to the bottom of the pile, you're probably out early-ish doors, but I bet it was still quite something special. To be there on the fourth day of the Open is quite something.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, the feeling of making the cut for me was better than the walking down the 18th on the Sunday, but I think that was just due to there were more people in the stands and sort of it meant a lot more at the time just to make the cut. So, well, I mean, I'm sure the weather was quite nice, and there was, I mean, probably I don't know, a quarter, maybe 2/3 of the half of the stadium was full. So it was still amazing, and it'll be an experience that I'll never forget. But yeah,
and hopefully you'll have again, though, Joe. Hopefully you'll have again.
I'm hoping so, yeah. But I mean, for the boys while they're up the top and they're coming down the last with full stands and crowds running behind them and stuff like that, I can only imagine that it's just an absolutely amazing feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. That is without doubt one of the best, most embarrassing moments, which has then actually been flipped into probably the greatest moment of your life as well. Yeah. So, I like that. Now, Joe, one thing we always like to do as well is we get a lot of people who are interested in the hardware that you play, the equipment that you play. I always find it interesting too. What do the pros play compared to me? I play Callaway Roguines. You know, they've got a slightly thicker head, of course, so I can hit the ball. So, Joe Dean, can we go through your bag? Let's start from top to bottom. Shall we go drive it down?
Yeah. So it's a PXG 0311 XF driver, which is the slightly bigger.
You're the first person so far, first person who's played a PXG so far who I've spoken to.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's really, really good stuff. I know it's a pricier product compared to some of the other products on the market, but it is really, really good stuff. And the fittings you get are second to none. I mean, I've tried quite a few manufacturers and the fittings, and I'm not taking anything from the other guys, but the fitting that I had with Lawrence Pauly from PXG is fantastic, and I would highly recommend if people can afford the prices of them, that they are very well worth it. I mean, the set of irons that I've used last year just gone, are still in good enough shape to last me what would have been this season, but they are still in good enough shape to do that. And so the durability of the clubs are fantastic. But it is great equipment, highly adjustable. So you can tweak as much as you want, and
which can't be underestimated, can it? Because that can make all the difference. Certainly, as you get, if you've got your sort of average golfer, say, watching this, or even your single figure handicappers, getting fitted and getting it correct really can make a difference. I get a lot of people say to me all the time, "Oh, Ian, we're a 2022 handicapper. What's the point in getting fitted?" Well, quite a big deal actually, because it could take me from a 22 down to a 15 relatively quickly. I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, any little can help. I mean, this game's hard enough as it is without any help. So, I mean, stuff like loft and lies, the length. I mean, if you're 6'5" and you're playing with standard length clubs, you're gonna struggle. It's just that's a simple fact. You're gonna be too over the ball, and it's gonna cause a host of problems. So just the basic stuff like loft and lie and length and grip size. I mean, a lot of people do neglect it, and it does make a vast difference. If anything, I believe it'd make more of a difference to your high handicaps than it does so much like your stuff like that. I mean, the tolerances are so fine at the level we play. 1 or 2 shots at the level we play is the difference between making your tour card or earning enough money to keep yourself going for the next year and stuff like that. Whereas probably the odd 1 or 2 shots on a handicap scorecard is where you're putting 3 or 4 cards in or going through the year or whatever it is, might not have such an impact. but when you drop in 5-7 shots from 20 handicap, it's still a lot of difference.
Yeah, definitely. So, have you got PXG irons? You say as well?
Yeah. So I've got the 0311T irons. I'm currently waiting for the new stuff. But obviously, with everything that's going on, there is big delays and everything.
There's a delay, yeah.
I'm not going. I think it'd rub it in a bit more if I got them delivered and not being able to use them. So, something else to look forward to. I'm currently. I did have the 5 wood in at the minute, but I've changed to a 1 iron. Which
wow!
A lot of people are using it. Don't worry, it's nothing. It's nothing like Lee Trevino or whatever back in the day or anything like that.
I was going to say, aren't 1 irons impossible to hit?
I'm sure it wasn't Trevino what held the 1 iron up to the sky and said, "Not even God can strike a 1 iron."
Yeah, even God can hit a 1 iron.
I think it was. It's nothing as daunting as that to look at. It's quite a forgiving head, but it's nice because obviously it's mainly for off the tee. I don't find myself using that many woods into greens, so for me it's perfect. Something what's a lower fly, a lot more piercing trajectory. I don't have to worry about the wind as much. Whereas the 5 wood obviously spins up a bit more. Designed for, I'd say, coming into greens a lot steeper and stopping on par 5s and stuff like that. So
I was going to say that was my question actually, Joe. If you are, say, second shot on a par 5, you've got a shot of getting onto the green, let's say, 1 iron or your 5 wood, or do you lay up with a hybrid or something? What do you do?
I mean, personally, this might sound daft, but personally, I'd rather hit the 1 iron. I feel a lot more comfortable with an iron than opposed to a wood. I'd rather hit a 1 iron and chase it into a front bunker than I would trying to hit a big high fade with a 5 wood or something like that.
Would the 5 wood make it?
Again, there's so many settings on the 5 wood. You can have it slightly stronger or slightly weaker. Carry wise, a 5 wood will probably be 15 yards further than my 1 iron, just on the difference of trajectory. But overall distance on 1 iron, depending on the conditions, will possibly go further because it's got less spin. It's a lower trajectory. It's going to roll more. So, especially when you're looking in links conditions, it is going to go quite a bit further than a 5 wood.
You need that height as well, don't you? I suppose.
Yeah,
certainly on the links.
Yeah. So, but now I've got a 1 iron and a 3 iron in, which are the same sort of width and forgivingness. So that's the setup at the minute. And then 4 iron to a set pitching wedge, which I'm changing on the new set. I'm going to go for a slightly weaker 9 iron and a forged so like a 52 degree but a 50 degree. I think it's 47 degree. So but obviously the difference in the metals, that pitching wedge will spin a little bit more now, and it won't go as far as what a set wedge will go, just because of the difference in how they're made and stuff like that. So that's why I'm making the 9 iron slightly weaker to sort of bridge that gap a little bit more.
Although you say your 9 irons are 47.
No, I'm sure it's
right.
I think pitching wedges are normally about 46 degrees.
46.
47.
I was going to say 47 degree 9 iron. That is a wedge, isn't it?
There'd be not much point in it. So that's the plan for this year. I just had too many shots last year where a pitching wedge was going in with too much pace and not enough spin.
Right.
So I need a little less pace, a little more flight, and a little more spin on it. So that was the reason.
Fantastic. And what's your putter then, Joe? What do you get on the greens with?
Currently, I've ordered a couple of PXG put us to try out, but at the minute I've got my old trusty White Hot 7 Fang.
Yes.
Fang one.
Yeah.
But it is a very, very old one. I think it's, I don't know, maybe 08 or something like that.
But putters never get old, though, do they? Really,
Yeah.
if you get the right feel, it's all about feel, isn't it? In putting, really. I mean, I know technology's moved on, and the faces, and they have the micro hinge inserts and things like this to help roll out and stuff. But it really comes down to feel, doesn't it, in putting?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no right or wrong way. I mean, the amount of guys you see on tour using different styles, claw grips, all sorts like that. It just proves that there's not one way to go about it. It's just whatever feels comfortable to you, and whatever you can get that ball starting online the most consistent. That is the way that you need to continue and practice.
Definitely. Now, look, Joe, thank you for taking us through your bank, and thanks for sharing some incredible stories. That Open story is magnificent. One of the best stories I've heard, I've got to say. We'd also like to sort of end these. I appreciate you've got stuff to do, so I'll let you go in a minute. But one last thing, I always like you to have a little say. Obviously, you've been golfing since you were 3 years of age. Is there anybody throughout your career you'd like to say a bit of a special thank you to? Any sponsors who have helped you along the way? Obviously, family, friends, coaches. The floor is yours, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, there's just loads and loads of people that's helped me through my career. I mean, even the people what you think haven't helped you, they've at the end of the day, they've all guided you to a certain point where we are now. But I mean, Pete Ball at Burley Golf Club, he was the one what obviously my parents, my mum and dad, but Pete was my first coach, and if you ever met Pete, you know how much of a character he is, and I'd just like to thank him. Graham Walker at the Oaks, he sort of took me under his wing since I was 16. Still work with both of them at the minute, so it's just a nice relationship. Also, Paul Parkinson, physio at Newark, Spectrum Physiotherapy. Really good guy. Been with him for the last several years. Knows his stuff about golf now. Definitely worth a visit if you've got any problems or you just want to keep fit, whatever. Let me think. Also, there's another physio I see in Sheffield, Liz. I'd like to thank her as well. My sponsors for this year, last year even. Nice. You get muddled up, don't you?
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's all just merging into one, isn't it?
yeah, RNS Services and a couple of guys from Hillsborough Golf Club that have been absolutely fantastic, supporting me over the last few years. PXG for the last few years of support. Titleist, they've supported me without question for the last couple of years and in the past before.
Brilliant.
I think that covers. Obviously, the biggest one, Emily, my partner. She's been by my side and she's given up a lot more than what people think to help me out over the last 7 years. So
fantastic.
It wouldn't be possible without her. So thank you to her as well.
Fantastic. Joe, wonderful words there. And I can't thank you enough for sharing your stories today. It's been an absolute pleasure. It really, really has. Joe Dean, I can't wait to see you back, especially on the 2020 Pro Tour, but wherever you're playing, we'll keep a sharp eye. And next time I see you, I'll be with microphone in hand and camera on a tee somewhere, probably in Yorkshire.
Yeah, can't wait. I'll see you there. Yeah.